What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Clippers Latest, where we talk about all things LA Clippers, quick, fast, and to the point. I'm your host with the most, Brandon Goggins, back here with another episode for you guys today. Clippers Latest is officially sponsored by Underdog, so big shout out to them. If you're watching this video right now, you can scan this QR code on the top of the screen and check it out and make your picks. You know, Underdog is my favorite app to place entries on when it comes to NBA action, especially with how simple and clean the process is. It's pretty easy, so I think that you should give it a visit and you should give it a shot. Try this QR code right here and download it today. But how is everybody doing today? I hope that everybody's doing well to the best of their ability. Um, we should be doing well, depending on what time you're seeing this video. We are fresh off a dub. It was a hard earned one, but it was a dub nonetheless. Glad that we were able to hold it down. Shout out to James Harden and his heroics once again, while Kawhi is still out dealing with that knee irritation. Um, we made it happen, y'all. You know, by the breath of our lungs, by the skin of our teeth. So let's talk about it. We're gonna walk through it quarter by quarter as we usually do. But before we get into it, I think that you should hit that like button down below. And if you're new here, you should subscribe because you're gonna love it here. We love to have you here. But without further ado, let's get straight into the first quarter. Coming into this one, obviously, I knew that Washington wasn't going to be a pushover win. We just saw them last Wednesday, and even though we controlled most of that game, they chipped away and almost made it interesting. So I knew that they were going to come in with that on their mind. With that being said, we rolled out Harden, Dunn, Sanders, Zoo, and Collins was back in the lineup after he had his little groin issue, and then the Wizards, they started Bud Carrington, Trey Johnson, Chris Middleton, Keyshawn George, and Alex Sarr. Zoo came out. He scored the first bucket, which was a good sign at first. Harden missed his first three, but then when he got the O board, he knocked down the corner three right after that. Not Harden, freaking Collins. I just said Harden because Harden wasn't getting buckets to start off. But Collins was picking up right where he left off before his little groin injury. But the Wizards, they were competitive early. You know, we were tied at 9 after a Trey Johnson 3, and then they started speeding us up. They've got, I think, a top 5 fastest pace in the league, and, you can feel it. You know, they're young. They get up and down the floor, and they're going to make you work for it. Brooke Lopez checked in, and at that point, we were just 1 for 8 from 3 to start off. We were getting good looks, we were getting appropriate looks, but we were not getting the results that we wanted. So Harden, he kept us afloat by doing what he does best, and he was getting to the line. He had 9 free throws, made all of them, and we ended the quarter tied at 26. It wasn't a pretty one, but we survived it nonetheless. Then we go into the second quarter, where it was more of the same type of deal. You know, there was no particular run either way. It was just a grind. Washington was crashing the board hard. At one point, they had a possession where they had 3 offensive rebounds, and then that ended in Keyshawn George getting fouled on a 3, and that put him up 4. Like, why can't we box out, yo? Come on, man. But it finally got to a point where we responded with buckets from Collins and Chris Dunn, and we took the lead back. But it still felt uncomfortable. It didn't feel secure. It didn't feel like we were going to carry away with it. So, of course, Harden had to come back in, and he did what he does best. He drew a foul on a three-pointer. People hate it, I know, but it works. You know, they even upgraded it to a flagrant 1. So we were able to keep possession, and then Collins was able to add another bucket to put us up 5. We were not, as I said, hitting from deep at all, but thankfully Kobe Sanders. It feels like anytime we're in a scoring drought, Kobe Sanders comes through to save the day and give us a 3. It's usually either Kobe or Batum, but in this case, it was Kobe who splashed one to give us our largest lead at that point at 6, and then Nico hit one. So both of them. We just needed anybody to see one go in, you know. But still, the Wizards' second chance points were killing us. We were able to escape the half up 1. Harden led the way with 18, 5 assists to go along with it. And it felt like the third quarter would be the quarter that decided everything at this point. But I ain't gonna lie. At this point, I was like, I don't know about this one. We playing a little too sloppy, lackadaisical, not hitting shots. So I wasn't really sure what to expect for the third quarter. Fast breaks, buzzer beaters, and block parties are back, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. Playing on Underdog is easy. You just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, and more. If you get your picks right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. This week on Underdog, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at our game actually against the Bulls, and I am selecting James Harden for higher than 30.5 points. I think that he'll have to. He'll have to put on his cape or his beard, whatever you call it. With Kawhi still being out, I think that he'll have to get 30 or more, or else I'm not gonna put that into the air. But I also am going to select Kobe White for higher than 17.5 points. I think that he'll have his way. He'll do his thing. But that's who I'm going with. But I think you should test out who you should go with and download the app today. And when you're doing so, I think that you should use bonus or promo code basketball fan to score $75 and bonus entries when you play your first $5. Again, that is promo code basketball fan. It's right there. Make Underdog, make picks, win money.
Must be 18 plus. 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska. 19 plus in Colorado for some games. 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia. And present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/play and get terms DFSTML for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 helpline at 1-877-8 or text PMI 467-369.
Not gonna lie, y'all, the third quarter started a little rough. Washington, they came out firing on all cylinders. I'm telling you, like, they were just sparking that giant, like, everywhere. And then before you know it, we down 10. 10? We were fortunate to be able to make a push and cut it to 3, but then they pulled away again. And then Harden went on his personal six-point run to keep us within striking distance. And I was like, man, I don't know about this game, man. I don't know. Our closeouts were looking slow. They were hot from 3. But we kept on chipping back nonetheless. We went on an 8-0 run in under 2 minutes, which was huge for us. And then, the refs went, wild in our favor. I think it was Jordan Miller who went up and they called goaltending on one end. And then Marvin Bagley committed an offensive interference on the other end. It was like back to back. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen that before. But, it's the Wizards. Harden was able to draw another foul, and he stayed perfect from the stripe to give us the 1-point edge. And then Keyshawn George hit a 3 to put them back up 2. Towards the end of the third quarter, Harden decided to try and be flashy with the behind-the-back pass with 2 seconds left, and he ended up turning it over. And then the Wizards come back down, and George banks in a logo 3. Thankfully, it was a split second too late. But still, that gave them some momentum. That gave them some confidence that we did not need at that particular point. We ended the quarter up 7, and that honestly felt like a miracle given everything that just took place. And then the fourth quarter came. And that started with 2 Brook Lopez free throws to tie it. But besides that, it just felt like the offense was stagnant. Obviously when Harden sits, we've talked about this. The offense just feels stuck, like we in quicksand or something. Thankfully, Jordan Miller was able to save us with a breakaway layup, and then he got a steal, and he got another breakaway layup to put us up. And then thankfully, Chris Dunn was able to hit a huge 3 to push it to 5. And then he got a stop right after, didn't convert. But, because we didn't convert, we kept on letting Washington hang around. And that's exactly what they wanted. It was driving me crazy. I was like, bro, can we put them to sleep, please? Please. Jordan Miller was doing everything out there he could, man. He was carrying over, his Toronto heroics. Had a great game in Toronto. But then a bad offensive possession led to a Bub Carrington 3 that ultimately tied it once again. And I was like, oh my gosh. Please don't tell me all of this good basketball that we've been playing gets halted by the Wizards. No disrespect, but come on, yo, the Wizards. But excuse me. Harden was able to answer with a floater. Middleton hit 3 free throws to tie it once again. And then Harden got fouled, and he made both to put us up 2. And then the unthinkable happened. Harden gets fouled again, and he misses 2 free throws. He was perfect from the line today. I was like, whoa. Really? Now is when you want to miss them? You had so many opportunities. He had like 18 at this point. 18 free throws. For real. And I was like, you want to miss now? But thankfully, John Collins. I thank the Lord for John Collins. He was able to tap out the O board. Harden was able to secure it, and they fouled him, or they fouled Harden, and he was able to hit both this time. With that said, we were able to escape with the 4-point victory. It wasn't a pretty one, but a win is a win is a win is a win, you know? So big shout out to Harden, Jordan, J Mill, you know what I'm saying, Zoo, Collins, everybody for leading the way. And shout out to everybody that contributed to this very scrappy but, you know, very rewarding win. So I'm glad that we were able to get it done. We got Chicago tonight. Another back-to-back. So we'll see how, you know, tired we feel getting off the plane or whatever. We'll see if we let any of that affect us. I hope that it doesn't, but time will tell. So I'm going to take this game with a grain of salt, but it still theoretically should be a victory. We should be able to keep on rolling, but, you know, let's hope that the legs hold up and, you know, we keep it going. But that's going to do it for me. I'm going to get on up out of here, y'all. If you enjoyed the video, leave a comment below on your thoughts. What were your thoughts while watching this game? What were your thoughts on everything that we talked about today? If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit a like. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. Come join us here at Clip Gang, because if you ain't Clip Gang, don't bang. I'm going to catch y'all in the next one, though. Y'all be easy. Y'all stay sleazy. And as always, keep it capital P. I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. Y'all be smooth. Peace.